Okay, we are live. Welcome to the weekly Q&A and form checks. I'm Mick Solomons, the developer of the Starting Strength app and Strength Club, and alongside me, Starting Strength coach Alex Koseri
How's it going, everybody?
and Starting Strength coach Chase Lindley.
What's up, guys?
Rusty can't make it today, unfortunately, so we're going to have to just plow on without him. You guys going to be
He's
okay?
tirelessly editing.
Yeah, censoring. So did you want to start with the best of Reddit, Alex?
Oh yeah, we had a new up and coming aspiring coach. Hopefully, he'll be writing his own book soon. But he started off with a post saying that he accidentally was doing 3 sets of 5 deadlifts, and that starting strength is definitely not holy scripture. And then someone somewhere along in the thread asked him when he was talking about how culty starting strength was, and was like, "Hey man, how long you been lifting for? How much weight you lift?" And he said he's been deadlifting for about 3 weeks, and he deadlifts 145 pounds. So look forward to his book coming out soon. It should be a good one.
Where's 145 fall on the on your overhead press warm-ups, Chase? Is it about your first set or?
Well, I start empty bar, then 135, and then just go up a plate. So he's basically kind of doing my first warm up.
Yeah.
But granted, it's for 3 sets of 5 though.
Yeah, he's doing 3 sets of 5.
crazy.
You're just doing heavy singles at 400. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, he's
It's
coming
about the
for
work
you, Chase.
capacity.
What's that?
That's what he has the edge on.
Right. How is your press coming along, Chase? Any big updates there?
Nothing yet. I think I kind of got into the fatigue boat with my press. So with my training, I'm doing pin presses right before my heavy press. So like on Thursday, I did, for example, a heavy single on my pin press, and I think it carried over that Friday into my actual press session, and that was kind of rough. I was trying to go for 385, and I got it to about like just over my head and just could not lock it out. So just kind of back to the drawing board, kind of just recovering and switching things around. And like today, for example, I did my heavy press single in my my pin press. So hopefully that doesn't screw me up come Friday.
Yeah. Is there just a crowd of people watching you press every time you train? Because I just imagine it's like a circus feats of strength kind of situation.
So I train in between class times here at the gym. So like I have sometimes apprentices come in, like they're just kind of used to it by now, and that's what I tell them too is like, look, you can't, especially as like up and coming new coaches, they get so fixated on like people who are lifting a lot of weight, just about the weight on the bar instead of their form. And I yell at them constantly, like, dude, look, I'm fucking something up. I know I am. I can't see myself, so you're gonna have to cue me. And eventually, like they've come to know that look, it's not about the bar or how much weight on the thing. It's just about my technique. Like I'm still in the same boat as whenever someone walks into the door. It's just that I have a little bit more fine tuning to do.
Yep. All right. Bit more fine tuning to get the 405 press.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we're all in the same boat.
We're all close. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, just lift your mic up. Just lift your mic up.
Oh, yeah, we're all close. I think Chase had a very insightful point about not fixating on weight in the bar, because a lot of people will accept losses in form or defeats on it if they're putting more weights on. If they're like, oh, my heavy singles and my heavy triples for the week, they kind of look like shit. It'll probably factor into them not feeling great. So even if it is a high percentage for you or a PR weight for you, still focus on the form.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Got some comments rolling in. Tricky Trick 696969. What's up, lads?
How's it going, Trick?
What's happening, man?
We've got his power clean.
The third 69.
The third 69. The triple 69. We've got his power clean video coming up, which is going to be a good one, I think.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm excited to see this arm pull destroy your AC joint like you were talking about last week.
You obviously already watched the video.
I have not.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. Well, I think you already kind of guessed it. But anyway, Benjamin Lacasse, I've lost 15 pounds since I've had COVID. I'm 2 weeks into my isolation and can't get back to the gym for another week. Late novice, squatting 300, deadlifting 405, pressing 150, bench 235. What kind of reset should I be looking at? Well, I mean, you're obviously going to die soon, so that's probably the least of your
Yeah,
least of your
granted,
worries.
if you can stave off death, I'd probably take it down like 20%, if that. So yeah, just time your lifts by like point 0.8, and that should be putting you in a good starting point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good ballpark. I honestly, during any long reset, especially with illness, I just say pretend it's the first day of your LP again. Go up until it starts to slow down. Hang out there for a few sets, call it a day. You'll be back in shape in no time.
Yep. Travis Reed, morning fellas. I see Alex has moved from Japan to Australia. Well, his background anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm in the milk aisle from somewhere. I'm not sure where. As a starting strength coach, I have a Google alert set for whenever someone uploads a new picture of gallons of milk. So
that might be
this is
soy milk
today's
if you're in
finest
Japan.
crop.
Skankstro, if I like to run, what's the best way to program it into my lifting?
Are you a novice? Skankstro, cool name, by the way.
That is kind of a cool name.
It is a cool name, yeah.
His profile
Curse my parents
photos
for
are
naming
like
me
a
Alex.
triple cheeseburger as well. So he's
triple cheese, Skankstro. So normally if I have a novice who's dead set on running, I like Friday evenings after you lift is a good time to do it, because you'll essentially just have the weekend to recover. If you can squeeze it into a 2-a-day, it's better than having it on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So if you're running on a 3-day-a-week schedule, putting it on your off day, you're going to be tempted to run harder, faster, longer, and it's going to start playing with your resources on your working days. So I'm fine. It's like, hey, if you want to train, go get some carbs in you and then go for a run. That's totally fine. It doesn't interfere with much unless you are going crazy, and you know if you will.
He's saying he's a novice, or she is a novice.
Okay. Yeah, I would start with Friday evenings or Friday after your training is a good place to start, and then just adjust around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about running, Chase?
I personally hate it, unless you're doing sprints. But, I mean, as long as she's eating well and recovering enough, I don't see any issue with it.
Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. There you go, Skankstro. Let's whip into some videos. We'll just start from the A's. Andy Maybank. We've had Andy on before. Oh, might help if I play it. There we go.
Andy, looks like you are sitting too far away from the bar. If you kind of look at your shins, they're really far forward. And after each rep, your shins are actually getting more and more further away from you. You're going to have to roll the bar back and then go back to the initial setup of 1 inch away. And then see if you can't set your lower back a little bit better than that. Shove your knees out into your elbows a little bit more, and then shove your stomach down, point it to the floor. Other than that, in your gaze too, I like you to look down a little bit more, kind of cranking up your neck.
Yeah, I think that hit all the boxes that I wanted to check. For you, when you're doing your self-review, just take your videos dead on from the side so you can see the end cap of the barbell pretty precisely. Because your issue right now is you're bumping it away from your knees and forward of midfoot. So you'll be able to workshop, troubleshoot how you're doing there when you'll have a pretty side-on view.
Yep. There you go. It's nice, pretty nice gym he's got there as well.
I know. Hopefully it's just called lift. Maybe that's just all.
No treadmills. Right. Couple questions. Ali G, and it's Ali G. I think it's like, Ali G, like the Sacha Baron
The Scottish
character.
Ali G.
No, he's wearing an actual karate, like a karate gi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, he says, UK gyms have been closed for 2 weeks. Ideas?
I have a client in the UK. He has a small garage gym. Be smart like him. Get a garage gym. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to start doing bodyweight stuff. You can train it, just as much as you zoom out to like gymnasts train. So get your weighted push-up, weighted pull-up, weighted dip pretty heavy, and just accept the fact that your legs will atrophy a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah, like during my body weight training time, I've been able to retain upper body mass totally fine. I lost like an inch and a half, 2 inches on my legs.
Actually, if you can't just like, if you're like in a, kind of rural area, just go pick up like stones or some heavy ass logs or something. Do some manual labor.
Yeah,
It'll be
like
fun.
That's a very good point. Anytime I
plow.
found a stone outside, stone lifts.
Yeah, just like be like a Viking and just start throwing it overhead and see how high you can throw it.
Well, I mean, with all this pandemic stuff, we're basically moving back to the Middle Ages. So I think, just
Essentially, yeah.
attach yourself to a plow and just start plowing fields. And
Yeah, make a trebuchet, get a dead body, and just start flinging that motherfucker.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Skangstro says, "What if I start snorting a bunch of Psalms? SARMS.
SARMs?
I don't know what.
I love SARMs, man.
What's
They have
SARMs?
code names. They're very cool. A lot of popular marketing.
What are they? What's a Psalm?
Selective androgenic receptor modulators. So think steroids, except slightly worse, but slightly better, because they're going to be less potent, and the selective part is what we're focusing on. So because of that, the slew of side effects aren't as severe. So the standard post-psychotherapy that you need if you're running like super physiological levels of test or like DECA or something like that, you don't really need it. So the current pet theory is that you don't need to cycle off with SARMs, but most of the time they are orals, so your liver will just explode or implode, whichever one livers like to do.
But you
for
get
the most
gains,
part,
though. It's worth it for the gains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, who knows? But they're very expensive, especially if you're trying to get high quality stuff, and you may just be buying like Chinese bathtub chemicals. So be very careful when you're ordering your SARMs on the online.
Oh, then Skangstro says, "I'm kidding." Okay. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
you see, that's the lack of commitment, which is going to prevent you from breaking any world records, man.
Brandon Strain, Alex, last week one of your clients used a video app that tracked the bar path up and down. What is that app called?
Ooh, there's a lot of them. I think one of them is called Iron Path. I think it's Iron something. Chase, do you know?
That sounds right. I think Iron Path sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But none of
What's
my
the
clients
painting
use
of the
that.
week, by the way, Chase, behind you?
This one is actually one of the paintings that I saw at my tattoo artist. I think he may have did something or touched it up, but it's just weird. It's like this like horse carriage house thing, and the guy who clearly is like in love with Jesus, telling these demons to get away.
I love it. That's amazing.
Teodor, oh God, Muradenovich. It's MRD. That's, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hey, big up, my man Chase. Are you natural?
Yes, I am. But I'm also a type 1 diabetic that people don't really understand. So I have huge amounts of insulin in my body, but at the same time, if I don't, I die. But do I play with my insulin? Do I dope up on insulin? No. I've tried doing that once, and like kind of give you a backstory. So Rip was like, "Hey, you need to start doing this." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, we need to make a shake to where we spike your blood sugar up, and then we just dump in a bunch of insulin. So it's like this recovery shake. Yeah, okay, whatever. So he gets like 5 scoops of protein, a huge amount of dextrose, and basically like this Bulgarian. It's like Bulgarian something, but it's this pure sugar essentially, and it tastes
juice.
like cake batter. Do what?
Donkey juice.
Yeah, essentially. So it tastes like cake batter. I'm drinking it, and like I'm watching my numbers climb up. So I'm like, I start out at like maybe 185, and then it jumps up to like 226, and then in the 300s and the 400s, and then I was like, Rip, I don't think I have enough insulin to bring this thing down. He's like, yeah, you need to go home. And like I was fine, but it was just like a huge caloric intake. I was like, this is stupid. I'd rather just eat. Like this, it tasted like shit, and this was nasty. But no, man, the amount of insulin does help. Like a lot of bodybuilders and powerlifters actually use a bunch of insulin. It's a huge human growth hormone. But do I mess with it? No, man, I don't mess with it or any other thing.
So wait, you had to go home
One,
to get more insulin to stop yourself from dying because Rip decided to give
Yeah,
you 4,000
essentially,
calories
yeah.
of sugar in one hit.
But I consented, so to save him, I consented, so it was all
he's
good.
just speeding through the town of Wichita Falls, 100 miles an hour, blast
Yeah,
through the
just like
limit.
all foaming at the mouth, just
Yeah. One thing that people don't note, because a lot of people who have access to insulin's it's probably the most common steroid that you can access. Everybody knows someone who's a diabetic. When you are attempting to clear that much, you will need a glucose transporter. So all of those bodybuilders are taking insulin in pair with one of those, so they do not go into a diabetic coma.
Yep.
So like it is an expensive way to not be natty. I'll tell you that much.
So basically, I can go eat like a couple of apple pies and just like shoot up some insulin, and I'll be good, right?
Yeah, exactly. You
Sweet.
just squirt it into the pie before you bake it,
Yeah,
and
nice.
then
yeah.
it'll be
Awesome.
super warm.
Send me some insulin, Chase.
No, those motherfuckers are expensive. The vial of insulin here is like without insurance, it's like 400 or $500 American.
So what happens if you don't have insurance and you're a type 1 diabetic?
You're basically
you
fucked,
die.
man. You're just like, well, I'll go eat cow pancreases or something. Hopefully that transfers over, but
That
no.
seems like a
I
win-win.
like- Exactly.
If that was a simple fix, man, I'd do it easily.
Cow
Like,
Yeah,
pancreas.
eat cow liver for your vitamin A, cow pancreas
Yeah.
for your insulin. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we've got a couple of questions, but we'll do another video now. Otherwise, this is just going to... Ant Davis.
Is he in the Smith machine?
I think he is.
Yeah, he's the Smith machine.
He's in the
Oh
Smith.
no,
Oh,
it's
is he?
another. Okay,
Oh, you go. Here we go.
he fooled us.
I mean, I'm curious about what's about to happen in the Smith machine, though, but let's watch Ants. He's really G'ing himself up for this, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I like it. Get
That's why
hyped
his
up.
calves are so fucking big, man.
Exactly.
He's been pumping up.
For a guy with legs like this, he should be squatting a bit more, I reckon.
You want to take this
I'm
one,
on
Alex?
rep 1. If you're past
Okay.
rep 1, I'm on rep 2 now, so you're probably past me.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So Ant-Man, Ant, you are too vertical. You gotta lean way the hell over. Sit back with your ass and think about pulling back with your knees just a little bit. I can't really see your stance because the angle. See if you can't angle this up a little bit higher. But you seem about shoulder width apart. Maybe widen out your toe angle just a little bit more, and try to wear something a little bit more flat shoe wise, because your balance point is all over. You're on your toes and you rock back on your heels, and that's also a byproduct of you being really vertical with your back angle and your gaze. But I think if you have Converses or even just slipping off your shoes for the set, would be a lot more beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the bar may be a little bit high here too. So you're
Yeah.
doing high bar. There's a few adjustments we need to make. Lifters would help a lot. You can see yourself kind of teeter-tottering around, like Chase was saying. The toe angle does need to be more severe. You can see when your heels pick up off the ground, they're trying to trend inwards. So that's a really good indication for us that toe angle needs to be more severe. I think the stance width is fine. We like low bar more for many reasons, like 80 pages worth of reasons. So if you can move the bar down, aim your gaze down, and it would basically be right at the intersection between the wall and the floor. That's a good visual point for you. Aim your face at it, shove your chest down, you'll be able to squat more. You got a lot of leg mass going on, so you can definitely put some more weight on this bar. I think you are being limited by your mechanics a little bit here.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, Ant. We never actually found out what the guy in the Smith machine was doing. That's a bit disappointing, but anyway.
No.
Okay, Bobby Marley.
I hate these squat racks so much.
Yeah, they're just dangerous. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you can't even fixate the safety bars.
Yeah. It looks like they've
Now you're
cut.
just going to have to hope you're the right height. Yeah.
There's like a massive chunk missing out of one of the safeties as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so to start with this one, This is an interesting one. Chase, we'll see if you've seen this too. People will think that they're leaning over, but they will only be leaning over with like the middle of their back. So you'll basically just see a tremendous amount of movement right below their elbows, essentially, from elbows to their lower back. It'll just immediately snake down. They'll be trying to keep their chest really upright, but they won't actually lean over at their hips. All the movement will be coming from basically their middle of their back. So I would start with trying to fix the brace here. So really lock your abs down. Try and tie your rib cage to your pelvis. Make sure those points don't articulate around each other. They're locked in. And from there, you need to lean over at your hips. When you can lean over, your hips will go back more, and then your heels will start popping off the ground. So, you're trying to keep your face down. Knees are coming out. That's fine. See if you can get into a different squat rack. Hopefully the gloves are a stylistic choice and not something that's mandated by your gym.
Yeah, so Bobby, you can put your back in overextension really easily with a squat. Just like Alex said, you're going to have to not think about bracing on the posterior side or where like your back is, but more of the anterior where your abs are.
Yep.
Yeah, the girl in the background's doing some pretty good squats.
Yeah,
and she does not have gloves on.
No.
So Bobby, hopefully that's a stylistic choice. Don't be worried about calluses.
Yep. What do you reckon? See, with this squat rack, like he's kind of tippy-toeing it back in, but the next notch down is like it's a pretty big gap. What do you suggest?
Just do it low.
Just do it low on the lower one?
You're doing squats anyways.
Yeah.
Do another one.
Yeah. So next notch down. All right. There you go. Thanks, Bobby Marley. Thanks for the video. Another question. Teodor Mredinovic. Yep, okay. He says to Chase, have you ever tried just not eating any carbs?
I have, but it's almost impossible, especially if you're trying to lift because of the basically the physiological processes that we're trying to obtain with strength training, right? So as we go on, we're burning a bunch of glucose, trying to get ATP for the ATP CP cycle. And having no carbs in your system and basically no glucose in your storages, it's impossible, man. You'll just feel like shit. You'll start to fatigue after the few reps. You can probably get through your warm-ups, but your working sets are going to look like dog shit.
Yeah, there's a whole kind of, I don't know what to call it, if it's like a cult or like a fad, but seems to be a lot of people who seem to think that they can do this, get really strong on keto. Like basically not eating any carbs at all and just eating entirely fat. And they talk about this thing called fat adapted. That once you're fat adapted, that energy, you'll start using fat as your primary source of energy. What do you guys think about that?
It's a thing. I have some athletes who do it, but their demands and how they're looking at their demands are very different. So if you're trying to run 30 miles a day, it's a little bit different than if you're doing what Chase is doing. I have some, whenever I'm any of my combat sports guys, whenever they're cutting, we do a ton of carb manipulation.
Did we lose Alex?
Yeah, I think we've lost Alex. Okay. All right. Well, that's hopefully.
I don't know if I can finish his train of thought. But,
yeah, go for it.
So yeah, with the fat stuff, your body needs fats, especially your brain and the vital organs around it, like the visceral fat and stuff like that. That's very important. So you kind of have to mandate that and make sure that you're not losing too much fat too fast, right? Or otherwise you're going to feel like shit. Your motor functions, your cognitive functions are going to be shit. But I mean, if you have the proper dieting and you've done this before, it's easily done.
Yep. Theodore again. Last question. Promise. Starting strength 2 months ago. Starting to get a bit chubby now. Losing vascularity and abs and stuff. Do I just keep going?
Look, man, if you're doing the gallon of milk a day and you started out like as a normal sized person, don't do the gallon of milk a day. And if I've seen this a lot too, is that once people start this novice linear progression, they all think that, they're 20 something again, or they're 19. They can eat whatever the hell they want. They can stay up late and do all this crazy shit because they're starting to feel good again. Don't change your eating habits to where it's shit. Don't go to Whataburger or all these fast food places right after your workout and just chow down on the biggest burger you can buy. Eat healthy, Be smart about it. Like eat your protein, your carbohydrates, and you'll be fine. But for you, yeah, you got to watch your diet. Just I think you're probably eating too much fats, so cut down on the fats, and your abs and your vascularity will be right back.
Yep. Ali Gee, am I on today? Dale B93. Yes, you are. We have your video. Dale B93 is coming up. Let's do another video while we're waiting for Alex. I don't know what happened to Alex. Has the earthquake finally hit? Is it Godzilla? Has it finally happened?
Yeah, Godzilla probably rose out of the Yellow Sea or whatever.
All right. Well, speaking of Dale B93, you're up next, man. These shorts are not going to survive this set. That's what I reckon.
don't know. I'm actually a little bit ahead of you, and so far they're good.
They're sticking. Okay.
So Dale, the only thing I see here, as you're going down, make sure that you're keeping your feet flat on the floor. I can't really see your stance width, but make sure that your heels are underneath your shoulders and that you cut off the depth. So if you kind of see your lower back, you're relaxing to get those extra few inches. You don't need to do so. Go down until you feel that bounce out of the bottom, and that should be your indicator of when to come up. Right now, you're kind of bouncing off your calves because your knees aren't really shooting that far forward, but they're getting that knee angle too closed. So you're getting that bounce off from the calves a little bit. Your gaze, try to look at where the wall meets the floor, because you're starting to kind of bring it in all over the place. As you go down, you're cranking down your chin, and that's kind of throwing off your upper back and stuff. But for the most part, these aren't bad, man.
Yeah, man. Good work, Dale B. Man, I want to know what those shorts are made out of, because
no shit.
By all rights, they should have just been in tatters.
Like sweat? Yeah, I don't know if they're definitely like anything woven. I think they're just like sweatpant material or something like that. They look like it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dale B. Comments. Where are we up to? Skankstro again. I was also curious about how I could introduce strongman type lifts into training. My gym has an axle bar log and some stones, but I'm curious if using them would fuck progression up.
So there's the phenomena between training and practice, right? So if you want to do any sport, it doesn't matter if it's ice skating or golfing or anything like that. You have to practice that. So you have to practice the events that you're going to do in the strongman competition, but you're not going to train for them. Training is you doing your squats, your overhead presses, your bench press, your deadlifts, your power cleans, all that stuff, right? Because especially in strongman, the strongest person wins, right? It doesn't matter what really any sport, unless like chess or something. But you have to adapt for strength. And the best way to do that is those exercises that I just named. You don't need to worry about doing a log press or anything like that. Will you have to practice it? Yes, like I stated. So pick like the weekend or, after you get done with your main lifts, if you have a little bit of time, work on your events. Like if you're doing a yoke carry, start doing yokes and maybe your day off. If you're messing around with stones, same thing on like, if you have like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, on the Tuesday, Thursdays, or on the weekends, do the stones and the log press.
Yep. I guess it depends as well. I mean, are you planning on competing in any strongman events, or is it just you just want to do it for fun? Yeah. I don't know. If it's just kind of the fun thing, how much would you sort of recommend doing?
If it's for fun, I wouldn't get too crazy with it. Just kind of work up to, if you know what your press is, like let's say you're pressing like, in the hundreds or something like that, shoot pretty close to that for your log press and just work with singles and just play around with the log. And then for like the stones, take it off of like, 70% from your deadlift, like your heavy set of deadlift. The thing about the stones is that you're going to have to get comfortable with rounding your upper back to pick it up, right? And then making sure that your lower back is in extension and you can actually grip the thing. So that's what makes the stones so awkward and hard to do.
Yep. All right, it's Gangstro. Oh, I think we got Alex back. Hey.
I'm alive.
What happened? We were hypothesizing that maybe finally Godzilla had risen from the Yellow Sea
Yeah.
and
Like
it stomped you.
Fukushima finally blew up or something like that.
It was big pharma. I was talking about steroids too much.
Yeah, we've been cancelled.
Probably.
All right, we're just going through some questions. Lee Pavlich, does Chase do any accommodating resistance work for his press?
More weight on the bar, pin presses. Other than that, no. I mean, I've done laying tricep extensions. I think those are very vital, but they shouldn't substitute the primary exercise of pressing or like a pin press or isometric press, because those are more loadable. I can overload those a lot more than I can a laying tricep extension.
Yeah, accommodating resistance and dynamic ever stuff on the overhead is just hard. Try and band that up or put chains on that. It's just a hassle.
Yep.
All right, let's whip into the next video. Francesco DE. Francesco.
If I could do it all over again, I would be Italian.
Yeah.
I would ask my parents to be Italian.
You kind of, do people think you're Italian?
It depends on the hair. So if I do like a pencil mustache, I can pull it off. I can be Hispanic if I want to be. I can be Middle Eastern. It's all up in the air, man. Rip called me Armenian when he saw me, so who fucking knows?
Is it called because he called him Buddy?
No, I was talking to Nick Delgadillo after I was on a power clean for my first platform. He just comes up to me in the middle of us talking, interrupts us completely. He just looks at me. He's 3 inches from my face. He's like, "Are you Armenian?" I'm like, "What the?"
Does he have a no Armenians policy at the gym or something? Or
No, I think he just enjoys guessing with people.
right.
And he tried to nail it.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of old mate Francesco's squat?
What do you think, Chase?
These aren't bad at all. You're kind of leaning over before your knees are breaking, so hips and knees at the same time, and finish standing up all the way before you go down on the next rep. You're kind of doing that little lean over to set the low back. Work on just standing up all the way and setting that lower back in extension. Keep your eyes down. I don't know if there's like a mirror in front of you, or there's definitely a wall, but you got to look down a little bit more. These look good though. Other than that,
Yeah,
I
I think
a little bit of knee slide. But that's from the hips and knees not breaking at the same time.
exactly. Yeah, so the knee slides coming. It's a later symptom, but I definitely fix the gaze, tighten that up to where Chase recommended. I think a belt would actually help you a lot. I've noticed with people who send their hips back and get an overextension, a belt can normally organize that self pretty quickly.
Okay, Francesco. Comments. Race Jacobson. Fat adapted sounds like a euphemism for a chubby chaser.
Nice.
Theodore says, I'm 18. It's good to know.
Who asked him how old he? I missed
I
that
think
part.
we did we?
No.
Well, congratulations.
Well done. Illegal. Well, in some places. Matthew Joseph, how are there no starting strength coaches in Washington, D.C.? There is definitely a market here. Anyone want to move?
You guys got some pretty close outside of DC. You got some more in Baltimore, Murdertown, Baltimore. And you got some in Northern Virginia. Cassie Neiman's in Richmond. She's an amazing coach. That's within spitting distance. But yeah, I think it's kind of a property thing. DC's super cramped, super crowded.
Yep.
Race Jacobson, seams are knitted with piano wire. I think maybe that was the guy with the shorts that should have exploded before. I don't know what piano wire is, but anyway. Crown of Iron, we need an SSC in Perth, Western Australia. Nearest one is in Sydney, I think, not a 10-minute drive. Actually, I don't even think there's one in Sydney anymore. I think there's one in Adelaide. I think we only have one. I think a couple dropped out.
I'm not.
You guys only have like 4 major cities, right?
Well, I mean, define a major city? How many people is that?
I'm pretty sure the distribution of your population is just kind of in a few central hubs, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
If y'all have more people than kangaroos, that's a a major city.
Yeah.
That's a W.
Yeah. Ali Gee. Yeah, just cotton shorts. Ha ha. Okay. I think
Maybe that's the dude.
that's the shorts
that
guy.
was yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Riggins. My sport is concrete. Laughing face.
Are you a concrete worker? That's pretty cool, man.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
There's some more comments about where people train. Okay. Jeff Riggins, where the hell is Perth? All right. Let's chuck another video on. Ivory Horse. Tricky Trick.
Oh, the man.
The power clean video.
Love me some arm pull, man.
Yeah, this is just a shrug video. That's an impressive amount of weight to be shrugging.
He doesn't even shrug.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so this is why I really don't like the CrossFit for time kind of method of teaching, because it doesn't really teach the highest pull. It'll oftentimes encourage a split step to get under it, rather than finishing it, and then since you're already fully extended at the top, you can drop into a full clean a little bit easier. With the way that we teach the clean, I very rarely see the byproduct of that being the split step and a partial jump. Tricky Trick, Lord of the 69, if you're still here. The cue I like to use for this is think about pushing down on the bar with your triceps. So think about getting your arm straight and down with it. You'll feel a better connection to it. And when you do slam your hips into it, since the arms will be more straight, you'll feel like more of that power is getting to it. I would widen your grip up, because if you try to do a straight arm version of the clean with this, your jumping point is going to feel significantly lower than where you have been hip cleaning it from now. So with that, if you widen the grip up, you'll be able to move that jump point up a little bit. But hey, you're a strong dude.
Yeah, if anything, just slow this down, because a lot of times people will rush into this and it's like a snowball effect. They'll just keep pulling it faster and faster. Their form will just go way out the window. And you're plenty strong enough to do this. So go slow, stay leaned over, keep the shoulders in front of the bar, and that way it helps re-emphasize that touch point that Alex was talking about.
Isn't there a thing about... go ahead, Alex.
Sorry. I was going to say it's going to feel different, because the way that we are proposing it is that the back is going to need to stay long, your shoulders are going to need to stay out and over the bar, and it's almost going to feel like you're catapulting the bar up as you get new extension, rather than you're getting your knees under it, you're kind of pulling it up like this with your arms hard. It feels very different, but once it clicks, you're athletic enough to be able to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tricky Trick. Geez, we got a lot of comments today. All right, we've got a question from Race Jacobson. Would you guys apply the starting strength model for a high school PE class? I know that the program usually takes at least an hour, but a standard class period is anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes.
Easily, yeah. It's easily taught to a huge number of groups. The thing is that you got to have competent enough coaches to watch everyone. I mean, maybe 3 coaches at the most if you're dealing with 35 people. It's not that many. Break it down, that's probably, a little over 10 per person, and a starting strength coach or someone to that caliber who's been doing this a while can easily handle that. And teaching everyone, just kind of like line them up as they're in the military, and actually doing the teaching progression is really quick with that, right? Teaching them to lean over, put their hands together like they're praying, shoving the knees out, make sure everyone realizes how leaned over they are, their stance and all that stuff. Yeah, it's easily done.
Yeah, when you're teaching groups, you're going to have to kind of deputize some of the older kids to get them to start helping. So if you're running with like a mixed age group and you have like, let's say, some seniors in there and some freshmen, you can get those seniors to check little things. Like if someone doesn't have their toes pointed out in the squat, for example, if someone has like an asymmetrical grip, you can kind of like automize a little bit of these small coaching things. Let's say if you're one person trying to take care of a big group of people, and it kind of increases their investment, because the older kids will feel like they're helping a lot, and the younger kids will feel a little bit more connected to the advice that the older kids are giving too. So.
There's people swapping Instagram DMs in the
I love
comments,
it.
hooking up on
Amazing.
Instagram.
Nice.
So there we go. This thing's finally taking off.
There you go.
Jeff Riggins, stay strapped if you hit Baltimore. Laughing face.
Stay strapped, get clapped. We all watched The Wire.
Yeah.
We remember.
Yeah. Jeff Riggins, yeah, Alex, concrete life going 9 years now.
Nice. You're gonna have some jacked forearms. Keep building muscle for another decade.
He's got concrete strength.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply to us. Yep. Theodore, my squats are all starting to feel like a grind. Squat 265 after 2 months. I'm 85 kilograms or 187 pounds, and I do use a belt. I defo eat enough time. I'm the one from before getting chubby. Oh, I think he's the one that was asking us before about he's losing vascularity, Alex. And he's worried about losing his vascularity in his abs.
Okay. How much he said he weighed 185 at
187. I think he's 18 as well, so
85.
Yeah.
How tall is he? Did you say
that's a lot different if he's 6'1" or if he's 5'4". Yeah, I'm guessing he's tall with that squat, with that body weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're 18. Just keep training. You'll be totally fine. Send a form check in. You could just be mechanically doing some wonky stuff and then making your life hell. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you look fine too, though. Like, I mean, if you got a decent amount of weight in the bar and you're 18, you're gonna look pretty good. Oh, he says he's 5'10".
5'10", 185?
Yeah, dude, that's.
I'm guessing it's form.
That's small. Yeah.
5'9". He's updated it. He's shrunk in the last.
Our criticisms have made him shorter.
Yeah. Chopping him down back to. All right. Jay Fraught.
Oh, the man.
The man. The myth. It's back.
We got 3 wheels on the bar.
Dude.
Nice.
I loved it.
Yep.
The only thing is just the touch. I mean, I'm sure you're probably going for a pause because it looks like you're maybe want to do like a federation type rule. On that pause, let it kind of not necessarily sink into you, but you don't want to get that double bounce, right? It's going to be a red light in the meter. So work on maybe doing some pause benches in your program, and just make sure that you're almost like pulling the bar into your chest to kind of really solidify that touch point.
Yeah, I love that advice. That's exactly what I say for these. Because what you don't want is for still be rebounding and for you to fight that rebound. So think about pulling it in. Paused work really helps. If you can get a slingshot, you'll be able to handle your working loads at the top, but still, feel what that's like at the bottom with a little bit more relief. So I like doing that for people who are just about to enter Fed. And then what he was saying with the heave or with the leg drive, if you're pulling it into you, it's going to feel much more connected. If it's still kind of like bouncing a little bit and then you try to leg drive through, it's going to feel soft.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it seems like you have a mustache now. That seems like a new development. So salute. Respect, man.
All right. Thanks. I think it's Jordan. His name's Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, Jordan. Tricky Trick 696969. Quick happy moment to share. I've messed around with weights for about 6 years. Never squatted more than 160 kilograms by 5 reps. After 5 months on starting strength, I just hit 200 kilograms for 5 by 3 sets. No drugs. This stuff works.
Nice, man.
I think he actually did email me his 200 kilogram squat today, and it's
amazing.
It's pretty impressive. If we got time,
friend of the show.
If we got time, we'll actually chuck it on later. It's pretty cool. Ali Gee says, "Yeah, if you're a genetic freak."
Hey man, he's a stud.
There's something to it. Race Jacobson. So would there be any programming changes made for the PE class to accommodate the shorter time frame? What would that look like?
Maybe doing just one set of squats but you need to kind of have that 3 sets of 5 in there for not only just the benefit of strength, but kind of that practice too. That's going to be kind of hard if, just make, one day just all about squatting, and then one day all about pressing, and then one day all about deadlifting. That way they all just worry about one thing instead of having to, because the big thing about whenever we teach someone these exercises, they retain about 10% of the information that we tell them. So if you get them moving and having a little bit of weight on their back and getting them associated with, for the squat, for example, driving their hips and leaning over, that's the main thing, instead of all that small shit that we're talking about, like the bar position, the grip, your toes, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you don't want is if you're just like, oh, it's the LP, I need to get all 3 lifts in. You have an hour slot with that many kids. Like Chase was saying, and nailed it, their attention is not going to be the same as if you get like a 30-year-old guy who's really into this and he's been, trying to be a student of, strength training, practical programming, and all things lifting for, a few months. You're going to be dealing with kids with short attention spans. So I think 1 lift a day, that's definitely the move. Make it practice-based, make it technique-based, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, try and schedule a sort of after hours thing as well. I think you'll probably find there's a bunch of kids who are really into it, and there's probably a bunch who just hate it. So, you could actually focus on the kids who really enjoy it and actually do it after school or something like that. I wish we had something like that in my school. Like, that would have been great. But, I mean, yeah. Jordan Fraughton, wife let me keep the moustache after 405 by 5.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
What a killer.
That's awesome.
Eventually, you'll be able to upgrade to the goatee.
Yeah,
Chase had to press 390 to get the goatee. Yeah. It just popped up in one day.
Yeah, I can't even grow a mustache. Just like 3 little hairs at the end of my lip, but the goatee, definitely.
How long has all this been going for, Chase?
Maybe like a month. No,
nice.
Probably about a month and a half.
Nice. That's a lot
and
of
growth
for a month, man.
Yeah, this thing grows like a son of a bitch. I wish this connected. Like it does, like it's like a chin strap, but like up here it's all like white and translucent hairs. My mustache doesn't actually connect, so I'm like, fuck. But if I could grow some mean ass facial hair, I'd rock some like goofy ass shit of like the mutton chop mustache connection. That'd be awesome.
I love it.
I wonder what weight Jordan has to hit for him to have the Hitler mustache. What do you think his wife would be okay with? Like a 600 pounds?
Yeah, 4 or 5 for 5 on the bench.
Yeah.
Get that going.
All right, Jordan. Hitler mustache when you hit that. All right, next up we have Joe Pescato RDLs. This is the first time we've ever had an RDL video on.
Maybe it's a normal deadlift and he's just Romanian. We'll find out. RDLs are not heavy enough to constitute a mid-back exercise. Don't think about retracting your scapula into it. A lot of the mid-back stuff gets overwhelmed, and you're trying to fight it, and then shoulders will go forward anyways if it's heavy enough to be really productive. Otherwise, low back looks set. Knee angle's totally fine. I would move your gaze up a little bit. I don't like looking straight down for the RDL, but I mean these are totally fine. What do you think, Chase?
I found that if you go low to the point where Joe is, like almost touching the floor with the plates, that is where the upper back kind of gets into that trouble. I'd say stop that range of motion literally about your tibial tuberosity, or like where you feel that bounce out of the bottom, since you got that eccentric there, and that's going to be your range of motion, because you're almost getting to the point where you're like doing like the bodybuilding RDL shit for your hamstrings.
Isn't that why people do this?
I do this more of like an assistance exercise if someone has a back issue or anything, because you can overload these, but it's the whole entire thing of walking it out of the rack, making sure you don't take too many steps away, because if it fails, you're fucked. And it's kind of freaky too, because you do get a bounce with the eccentric work, and that can be really hard on your hamstrings. And I've actually fucked up someone and popped their hamstrings doing an RDL, so that is not good.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that wasn't on the platform when you were taking your exam.
No, it was not that.
It's always a weird thing. People want to walk out their RDLs. Your RDL, unless you're a stud, is going to be less than your deadlift. Just deadlift it. You know,
Yep.
like if you're, if he's RDLing like 205, 225 there, you can probably pull 275, 290, 315, something like that. You can just deadlift it. It makes it a lot more simple. I like these for getting upper hamstring tweaks, getting upper back tweaks. If you're just feeling beat up and you want to get some posterior chain work in, and the absolute loading for a heavy deadlift is out of the question, RDLs are a good option.
Mm.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Canthrax. Or Canthrax.
Canthrax.
I think we had this guy on last week, didn't we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. He has the curl arm thing attachment hanging up on the wall.
He
Love
does.
Yeah, it's like glorified, man. That's awesome.
Have you ever seen dudes just walking around the gym just with that hanging around their neck?
I actually used one. So there's a pretty famous gym in Houston. It's called Alpha Elite. That's where like all these big name powerlifters and stuff go. And I was just fucking around, and I put that thing on, and my arms literally like exploded. I felt like I was a giant, and I could like curl like 315. It was amazing.
They're pretty great. Hopefully the
You
franchise
should
gyms
hang,
will
next
let
time you
those
go to
out
Wichita
pretty
Falls,
soon.
Chase, just hang one up somewhere. See how long it takes for him
Yeah.
to notice it.
Just put it in the back room. He won't see it.
Just hang it really high. Make sure there's
Right
no
in the middle,
ladders
right
around.
next to the Texas flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you probably get one custom made with the Gadsden flag on it. Come and take it.
Hell
Come and
yeah.
take these guns. That'd be good.
Hey, I like it. All right, what do you think of Canthrax's deadlift?
Canthrax, it looks like you are a little bit too far away from the bar and your hips are not high enough. So make sure you're going over the setup and that your shins are 1 inch away. And as soon as you bend your knees to make your shins touch the bar, your hips freeze. So you're going to be a little bit more high with your hips, and the position should feel uncomfortable. If it feels comfortable, you're doing it wrong. Gaze looks fine. And then right as you pull this, take out all the slack, make the weight heavy in your hands, and it's a slow, steady push, no jerk.
Yeah, the landmark that I would give you when you're self-coaching this is if your knees are going past your elbows way too far. Try and seat your knees towards the rear side of your inner arm, so like there, and then you'll probably be fine. You're setting your back, and it's set, and it's rounding off because the hips are too low, and you're trying to reconcile those two things. Get the hips up, you'll notice your back's a lot more straight, and you can fight for that extension better.
He does look like he has a decent set of guns on him too, to be honest. So it obviously works.
Which is all that really
yeah.
matters.
That is,
Day.
yeah, it's true. Yep.
He wins.
Yep. Tricky Trick 696969. Come on, boys, edit the shit out at the start of your videos. Smiley face. Oh, I think he's talking about all the setup stuff. I like
If you
the
want to
setup.
sneak some posing in there, that's fine.
Yeah, I like the setup stuff. It's it's good to see how people do things. All right, Marban. This guy has edited the shit out of the start of his videos. This gym's got a section just called arms. How good is that?
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
I actually hope, like the earlier gym lift, this gym is just called arms. That's what I hope.
They shouldn't have a squat rack then, unless people, people are just doing curls in it. Then it's fine.
Yeah, the curling rack.
Yeah.
All right, my barn. Your bracing pattern is making this a lot harder on yourself. The bar speed here wasn't catastrophically slow. So like rep differential between first rep and the last rep, it's indicating that this isn't actually, super, super heavy for you. Think about taking a big inhale, not locking it in a little bit more tight. You're taking a tiny, tiny breath in and then going from there. Try and get more air in your chest and then clamp down around it and speed up the process in between reps. So I think since you edited this, it's very possible you're standing before rep 1 for even longer than where we're seeing, So basically, as soon as the momentum's out of the bar from going back, take your inhale, lock it in, do your first rep. You're not getting anything except leaving, gains on the table by just standing there for that long.
I agree.
Tricky Trick 696969 said that sign meant to say SARMS, but the S fell off.
Nice. I love the peanut gallery.
Okay, Ali Gee, not to stir up shit, but what was the deal with Reynolds and Barbell Logic? Oh, I don't think any of us really know enough about
I think they have something on the forums or
Yeah, there's like a
little bit more information
300-page thread on the
Yeah.
forum. I feel
Email
like.
Rick
Yeah.
about that. I don't think any of us really know enough about it to really
Yeah,
know what's going
he'll
on.
tell you.
Yep.
Call the gym the second they open.
Yeah.
I think every day.
Or you can just fly out there and you can read the lawsuit that they filed. So
M. Huseman. I think we had old Huseman on last week. Old mate
Oh,
Huseman.
yeah,
yeah.
he had the cool.
The shoes.
So I looked at it. Yeah, I looked at the shoes because one of our members has this, and they're Japanese.
Okay.
Alex,
I didn't
you're our
bring my
link now.
lifters here. I didn't have the packing space for lifters.
Is that
So
because
I'm
you
gonna
couldn't
try
fit
and...
them inside your desktop PC case?
No, I needed to bring all my work stuff, man. But I have like some flats with me, but I'm gonna try and track down these Japanese lifters. It'd be really cool.
You're our source now.
Exactly. I'll funnel them back to the United States for you guys.
Nice.
Huseman, I think we made the same comment as last time. You're just kind of crashing into the bottom there. Control your tempo, lean over a little bit more, and man, these are going to be golden.
Yeah, I agree. Your mechanics are solid enough that you just need to work on the pacing. Get like a metronome app on your phone, or even just have someone in there counting you at a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi to pace it out. Because these are slower than last time. You may feel like you're taking 3 seconds to get down there. You're not. You got to slow this down.
Yep. Good work, Husey. Theodore, what do you call an alligator in a vest?
I don't know. I feel like I've heard this.
He hasn't
one.
written the answer either, so
A croquet or something? I don't know.
Okay. Next video. Paul 75. I've had Paul on before as well. The answer is an investigator.
Nice.
An investigator. Nice.
Theodore.
Just as a general note, you kind of salvage it pretty well here, Paul. A lot of people, they will let their wrist position compromise as they're getting it set up. Once the bar's, in the groove, then they'll try and fight back for it. It just makes it a lot harder. And I've noticed that tends to produce a little bit more of an unreliable position, possibly some more elbow pain if you're into that. Keep your wrists rod straight the second they touch the bar. As soon as you get your grip set on the bar, pretend you don't even have a wrist anymore. It is cast together, and then negotiate for that position on your back. If you try and get nice and deep and then try and straighten out your wrist, it's just a pain.
Are those lifters or are those kind of running shoes? I reckon they're just
I think those are like Metcons or something like that.
Yeah. Probably time to get some lifters, I think. All right. Any other feedback for Paul?
What are you thinking, Chase?
Yeah, just his elbow position too. You're kind of leading out of the bottom with your elbows. That's kind of piggybacking off of what Alex is saying. If you're having issues with your elbows further down the line, it's because of this. So you're going to have to stay a little bit more upright. You may even have to move your gaze up just a little bit to kind of help this. And just think about pulling the bar or making the bar fall down your back, like toward your ass as you're squatting. You should be fine.
Yeah, I really like that cue. That's a good one.
So Michael, or Huseman from before, said that was the same video from last week. He must have sent two at the same time.
God damn it,
Oh,
man.
No, Huseman.
Only had one job, Husey.
It's our fault, Huseman. Don't worry.
Is, yeah.
We'll fall on the sword for you.
We will. It's all right, man. Solly Wobbles.
I don't mind these. If I remember correctly, last week the problem was you were very forward in your knees. These look more hip driven this time. I don't mind these. I think you're going a tad bit too deep, so you're seeing a little bit more rounding in the lower back than you need to. But it's nothing egregious. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, that's right. I think Rusty used the cue of like pointing your ass back to the wall behind you or something. But yeah, this looks pretty nice. Yeah, just like what Alex is saying, if you hit that proper depth, it's going to be a lot easier on holding that lower back in extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can't troubleshoot that, try and widen up the stance a little bit, point the toes and the knees out more, and then where you'll find that bounce, instead of being deep enough to the point where you're seeing that rounding, it'll probably level off to exactly where you want it.
Also, I saw that you have some wrist straps on. Can you not get into a proper bar grip unless, like, if you have some elbow tendinopathy going on? I understand where you need wrist straps because you need your thumb around the bar, but see if you can't put your hand more on top of the bar if you're not doing so. That way it's going to relieve your wrist. It's going to put it into a more neutral position to where you don't even need wrist straps.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that a lot of people, when they have wrist wraps, and it could just be an artifact of the wrap or just people who use them, they'll try and keep their hand totally upright even when it's out. Let your fingers turn out towards the upright of the squat rack when you're getting there. So I always tell people, like for the press, we'll take the grip inside like this. For the squat, turn it out more. It doesn't have to be super dramatic, but just so that it's in line with the forearm. So if your forearm's all the way out here, let your hand go there too. You'll probably end up getting in a much more neutral position.
Yeah, I mean, you can see him shaking his wrists off as well after the lift. It's obviously putting a fair bit of stress on it. Yep. Alrighty. I think that was the last video. Well, I actually, we're going to take a look at Ivory Orse, Tricky Trick 6969's 200 kilogram squat. I just chucked it in the Dropbox for you guys, so you can take a look at it as well. It's AA_Ivory Orse. So you guys have a look at it and see if you got it there.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
All right, let's get it on.
Tricky Trick, how many different gyms are you working out in?
Yeah, just refresh it, Chase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be the very first video, AA_Ivory Orse.
He has some guy shouting for him in the back. I love it. Keep that energy going on, man.
You got it there, Chase?
Yep, I see it now.
Yep. Fuck yes, bro. That's your fastest rep.
Fuck yes, brother.
Easy.
So Australia.
That guy sounds very Australian. I love it.
Up. Let's go.
Yeah, this looks easy as fuck, man. Kind of wanting to raise your chest up a little bit on some of those. I've noticed this whenever people kind of get really amped up, their form kind of goes to shit. I know it's a really exciting moment, but you can't lose track of what you're trying to do underneath the bar, right? So take a couple big breaths before you go, let the bar settle, and then make sure that you're doing what you need to do underneath the bar.
Get a squat bar if you can. I don't like bars with this much whip. Anytime I've been in the low mid fours, I'm a pretty small guy. As soon as it starts whipping around, I'll have to take an extra 2.5, 3 seconds in between reps for it to settle. If you can get a stiff bar, you can solve that.
Yeah, still 200 kilograms with a whippy bar. That's pretty impressive, man.
Fuck yeah, mate.
Fuck yes, brother. Up. He says, I like to train with my friends. Okay.
I wish every gym
that's a good training factor,
had that atmosphere. I love that.
Yeah.
You need it.
Good work, Tricky Trick, man. That's awesome. 200 kilograms. Well done, buddy. Theodore, are the first two fingers supposed to be in contact with the bar during the squat? I also tend to get a forearm pump after my squats.
So Rip, I remember, was going around one seminar, and he was very adamant about all of the fingers touching. I don't really think it's necessary, as long as, kind of go back what Alex was saying about the kind of the rotation of the hand. Whenever I take my grip, my bar is here. So it's about like this, right? So it's kind of like a mountain ridge along the bar. If the bar is resting here, I'm kind of like this. So my first two fingers are maybe touching it, but they're not really actively gripping it. It's mainly like my ring finger and my pinky finger that are feeling the most pressure with the bar.
Yeah, Here's another thing I've noticed. Some people take this for granted. If you are lean and muscular, you'll have a very defined groove for the bar to get in. If you are just a giant dude, you're going to have a lot of space for the bar to sit. You may not even need the first 3 fingers. You can probably just get by with a little bit of pinky. You'll see some giant dudes just have it only in their palm, and they'll get away with it just fine. I think the desire to have all the fingers coming in is that if you're talking to people who don't have a lot of muscle on them or just small in general, I prefer for them to have more fingers on the bar just so that it's secure. And then when it matures, Chase, let me know if you've observed this as well. As people get more mature with the squat, that rotation gets a little more severe. My hand's almost like this when I'm doing it, and I'll have these two on the bar, and it just kind of gets, we want the upper back to be tighter, so we'll pull it in at the cost of fingers being off the bar. Nick Delgadillo had a really good cue just the other day in Slack, thinking about like pulling down on the bar with the tips of your fingertips, just kind of is the most that you can expect, especially if someone's leading with the elbows. Just very gently pull down on it.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. I think that was the last video. Yeah, it was. Smashed it. Just an hour. All right. Well, fellas, unless there's any other things you want to chat about.
Any pressing issues?
What have you worked out about Japan this week? What have you discovered, Alex?
Base gym's really nice. Everybody pays very careful attention to what they're wearing. Everybody is very stylish. I love it. Nobody lifts here. The only time you'll see a jack dude, they're a big old American. Yeah, base gym's pretty nice. Having some fun there. Chase, where can we find you at on Instagram?
Just Chase Lindley, my full name.
Is there an underscore or is that together?
No, it's all together. It's simple.
All together. I love it.
Rusty stole all the underscores. There's none left for anyone else.
Yeah, you can find the late Rusty at Rust_strength_training _at_Instagram.
What about you,
I'll
Alex?
be arguing with people on programming on the Starting Strength Reddit. I try to spend a few minutes there a day helping people out, and we'll have a link for my coaching in the description.
Yep. And that is it. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks everyone for watching and all the comments, and we'll catch you all next week.
All right, see you boys.
See you guys.